Hello once again, everyone, and welcome to the Sanctuary. Once again, we are playing Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn, and continuing on our A Realm Reborn relic grind. 10 years late, but still. Anyways, I'm Cruising the host. Last relic episode, we finally ground through all of the Novus weapons and upgraded them to Nexus. Before we move on to the next phase, let's just show them off in our usual order. With Paladin, we have Cortana and Holy Shield. And unfortunately, my camera can't go any lower, so... For Monk, we have Sphirai. For Warrior, Ravara. For Dragoon, Gable. For Bard, the Artemis Bow. For Black Mage, the Stardust Rod. For Summoner, the Veil of Wii U. For Scholar, the Omnilex. And last but certainly not least, for Ninja, Yoshimitsu. So, we have finally completed all the weapons in order to move on to our next weapon grind. Sorry. So, we're gonna fly on over to Hearst Mill. And of course, we're going to be doing this as Paladin to start off with. Now, this next phase, I've heard, is pretty expensive and tough. So, we'll see what happens with this one. I'm hoping not, but you never know what will happen. So, without further ado, let's talk to Jalzahn and continue with the quest, Wherefore art thou Zodiac? Wherefore art thou Zodiac? Chris, come, tell me, how fares your relic? Splendid, splendid. Why, I dare say our efforts with soul energy have been well worth it. I suppose this is when I ordinarily reveal my next grand plan for further enhancing your relic. It shames me to say that I have none to share. Not for lack of thought, though. I have revisited each step of your journey, starting with the relic's initial infusion of Thavnarian mist. From there, I have considered your painstaking collection of crystallized souls, and how each of the 12 varieties of Atma were infused into your relic thereafter. I have reflected on asking you to walk in the footsteps of the Zodiac Braves, and how you absorb the light of slain souls into your relic. And did not such efforts yield a mightier weapon still? Indeed they did, as did using a sphere scroll to imbue your relic with the fortifying strength of materia made into light. Finally, I have dwelt upon our application of soul glaze, so that all the energies became aligned with the weapon. By my estimations, you now hold an arm of unparalleled soul attunement because of it. It has been quite the winding road we've walked, but we have traversed it with success. And I would perfect your relic, no matter how long it takes. Yet, well, As I said, I have done all I can think to do. The soul within your relic should be close to that of the arm of legend I desire to recreate, but what comes next? Mayhap the nature of the soul is your relic. Mayhap the nature of the soul in your relic is lacking. No, that cannot be. Please, Chris, do not mistake my pessimism for a lack of will. I simply lack for a way. I am at wit's end, unable to see the forest for the trees, as it were. Although, I'm certainly not without allies. What if Geralt holds the answer to this particular conundrum? I can't say I relish the notion, but it would be thoughtless to dismiss the man's curious expertise. Could I ask you to approach him in my stead, Chris? You have convinced the man to lend his aid before. Perchance you can do so again. Sure, I've got an outstanding debt for him to pay, so yeah. Oh, Geralt! If you're here for your kettle, it ain't ready. Takes time to get the texture just right, you can. Oh, for the love of the gods, it's you! Does your yearning for punishment know no bounds? Or is it just that yonder old kook can't get enough of me sparkling personality? So you're both still pondering over that old relic of yours. Well, I do owe Jolzon a debt for that wine. Aye, I've a mind to help. Who knows? My beer has another bottle or three of fiery liquor in it for me if I do. There we go. Oi, Jazon! For all the time you spent burying your big and moldy books, how is it you're always lost for as to what to do with the bleeding relic? Ah, well, never fear. I'm here to bail you out of your predicament. The way I see it, you're trying to better a weapon what can't be improved anymore. We've just made the thing into the bleeding picture of perfection. No amount of spit and polish will make it any finer. I suppose I know what you say to be true, but I cannot help but feel there is something more still to be done to realize its potential. I wish there were. Seeing as restoring that bloody relic is some of the finest work I've ever done. But if you mean to remake a legendary arm like what the Zodiac Braves wielded, well, you can't do it with this. The weapons are just different, down to the very smithing. But if this relic can never become, has my work been for naught? I must return to my research then. Mayhap I will find a clue on some forgotten page. A clue, you say? A clue what unlocks the forgotten way to forge steel? 7 hells, old man! That sounds bleeding interesting! Here, let me take a look at a book or two. Can't very well call myself the best smithy in the land if there's a technique neath the sun I don't know, can I? Your skill is not in doubt, Geralt. But precious few descriptions of the arms of legends' appearances remain. And accounts of their fashioning are fewer still. Even this, my most comprehensive tome, holds but snippets. It would take a genius to understand it. Can't you remember who you're talking to, old man? If the greatest weaponsmith in all the realm can't figure it out, no one can! Let's give it a read. Oh, blow me down. This is some bleeding brilliant smithing what's written here. Me finest kettlework pales in comparison. Gods, I've a mind to try me hand at this. But... Well, you are welcome to the techniques, but what are the materials? I dare say you cannot find the catalyst the ancients used for soul infusion in this age. Simply put, we cannot just recreate a legendary arm. Might be as you have a point there. Given the right stuff in a picture, I could fashion a fair likeness of a Zodiac Brave's arm, but I'm well buggered as to how you might infuse it with a soul. I doubt that Thavnarian Mist could do the job. The relic's infused with a soul, then fortified with Atma, and spiced with materia made light. 7 hells, I've got it! What? Break out your strongest liquor, old man! There is a way to recreate an armor legend. See, the relic's got the right bleeding soul energy. We just need to get that to ascend to a legendary host. Ascend the soul into a new host? My friend, should you but prove yourself here, I will sing your praises not only as the greatest weaponsmith of the realm, but the greatest of our era! Oh, I'll have you singing like a canary by the time I'm through. Let's not forget about Gerard's payment. A bottle or 3 of fiery liquor, eh? Good! Now, first, we've to assemble a few raw materials. Just cause I've been inkling about a forging armor legend, don't mean I know what it's supposed to look like. I need a tome what'll tell me about the original's appearance. Seeing as you bought it for books by yourself in the past, I'll leave the finding of the bleeding thing to ye. I've no mind to get pecked by the harpies round Revenant's Toll. Next, we need something to forge the host. You're about as like to find what they used eras ago as I am to find sobriety. So we'll just have to use the next best thing. Whatever that is. Aye, what we're looking for is the most versatile of materials that can be formed into anything. I have a feeling something like that can't be bought for all the gil in Eorzea. So you'll want to talk to a bloke what's wise in the ways of crafting and gathering. Now, if ye can lay hands on that for the new host, then we've to deal with infusing it with soul energy. That means some mighty special form of materia. Might be as I've got an idea where we can get our materia, so don't worry about that for now. Because I'm not certain how we'll infuse it with the host, seeing as this new materia's 100 times more powerful than ordinary gobs of the stuff. Could we not channel the energy of this highly potent materia into another sphere scroll? It is a method that has served us well in the past. Unless, of course, the materia is so powerful it would incinerate a standard sphere scroll. Is it even possible to contain such energy? I know little of sphere scrolls beyond that which you have shared with me. However, Master Mutamix and his disciples at the bonfire may have the answer. And we'll need a catalyst for the materia's transformation into light. I suspect, however, that no ordinary Alexandrite will suffice this time. You would do best to seek a strange fellow styling himself a treasure hunter. I've heard he found an exotic stone, and I'm certain the man and those close to him cannot be difficult to find. You're to come straight back here when you've gathered all the bits and bobs together. As much as I thought I'd have had enough of ye, I know I can stand a little more. If it means I'm seeing a real armor legend come together, and the soul in your relic ascend. Soul Ascension now available. So, now we have to go to Mordona. All right. apparently we have 4 quests to do. In order to get this done. So, I know I don't necessarily want to do these in I'm going to do each of these quests in a little bit, but we're going to take a quick break and we will be back with more. If you're watching on Twitch, stay tuned. If you're watching on YouTube, here are the links provided. We'll see you in a bit.